Welcome to Community Talk. My name is Brandon Gilson. I'm here with the director of the foster care program at Youth and Family Services, Barbara Sweat. How are you doing today, Barbara?
Good. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Good.
We're looking for foster parents. It's a big need in the state right now, and I'm going to visit with Barbara for a minute here, and we're going to talk about the foster care program and get a little information from her. So starting off, Barbara, how many children right now are in DHS custody?
In the state of Oklahoma, there's usually about 9,600 children in DHS custody. In Garfield County, we estimate about 500. Throughout the state and in Garfield County as well, there is about there are about 2 times more children in DHS custody than we actually have accommodations for.
So I'm assuming that means we have a lot of kids that are just kind of floating around right now.
Yes, we have a lot of children out there who need help.
Right. And what reasons do most of these children end up in care?
There can be several reasons. A lot of it has to do with whether or not the child is living in an environment that is safe. So a child can be pulled from their home if there's domestic violence going on, if there's substance abuse going on, if there's neglect going on. Anything that puts that child at risk of harm can be a reason that DHS might pull that child from their home.
And we're not talking about bad kids, we're talking about kids that have been put in bad situations.
Exactly. It's seldom the child's fault that they're pulled from a home. It's usually just that there's a lot of instability in the environment that they're living in, so that it's just not safe for them to be there.
And where are most of these kids right now, would you say, that aren't in homes yet?
There are some who are in shelters. We have the shelter there at Youth and Family Services, and there are some children there. There are some who end up in what's called kinship placement, so they stay with grandparents, sometimes in an informal setting, and DHS is involved in their cases because there's been neglect going on in the home prior to their moving in with a grandparent or something like that. So there are some institutional options. That's not the preference, though.
No.
The preference really is to have a child in a safe and loving home.
And from what I've observed myself, being in the shelter, working in the shelter, we've got a lot of teenagers in this state right now that are kind of living out their high school and junior high years, bouncing around.
Yes, they are.
Because of our shortage of homes right now.
That's right. There is really a need for people who are willing to help teenagers. That's true in the Enid area as well.
Seems like a lot of them are being overlooked, and they're kind of aging out in the system and going out into society kind of without any...
Well, they are, and really those are some critical years. Those last couple of years in high school are some critical years when young people could be learning how to go through job interviews. They can be finishing either a GED or their high school, traditional high school. A lot of those things lay the groundwork for whether or not people will be successful when they actually leave school. There may still be opportunities for teenagers to get into homes where they could be stabilized enough to move on into community college and maybe even into, a 4-year degree program at some point. It's just that they need to be in an environment where they can start to realize their potential.
Support. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, support. And from my understanding, a lot of our kids are turning 18, and it's kind of like, see ya.
They're just kind of left to their own devices.
And, most of us going out of, high school and college had either a family or a support system there in place, and these kids are kind of 18 years old, adults, don't have any skills, and...
That's right, and a lot of times they don't have the skills that they need because they just have been kind of bounced through the system. So for some of them for a number of years. So it's very hard for them to stabilize enough to get the life skills that they need to really be successful once they age out.
If we could add some homes in Oklahoma, it seems that we could probably help a lot of those kids.
Absolutely.
Who qualifies to be a foster parent? That's a question we get a lot. A lot of people wonder if they would make good foster parents, or they even, have the qualifications to become one. Sure.
One of the things that I tell people that they really need to be a foster parent is just stability. So financial stability, stability within their family, medical conditions that are stable, it's fine if you have a medical condition as long as you're stable in your treatment and those sorts of things. We want people who are emotionally stable. So really, I think
the kids need that.
Kids need that. And then the other thing is you just have to really have an open heart for children who may come to you and not be the perfect child because they have had a difficult
If there's
childhood.
such thing as a perfect child,
That's
right?
But, you know, you have to be open-hearted and kind of keep an open mind to what the child may need. On the flip side of that need is that, you know, Youth and Family Services has some programs in place to help foster parents. We have a support group that meets each month, and we offer some training for parents, new parents. We are going to start developing some ways to have families being mentored by more experienced foster families and that sort of thing. So we really try to put some things into place that will help new foster families be successful.
And I've been to several of these foster care support groups. There's a lot of good information in them. Your training credits also, I believe, you get from each one.
What happens is we give the training, we give a training, we have a meal, and then we give a training. And
the meal's usually pretty good, too.
Yeah, and so then you get a certificate, and the hours that you spend in training with us count towards the 12 hours that DHS requires families to have.
Yeah, and that's awesome because, I mean, if not, you're looking at doing online.
Absolutely.
With the hectic, busy schedule that a lot of us have
It's hard to
nowadays,
do.
having a once-a-month catered event sounds like a pretty...
And it gives you a chance also, even like in the last couple of months, we've had opportunities where foster families could just sit and talk with each other for a little while to kind of discuss some of the issues that they have and help one another talk about resources, talk about ways to handle situations that may be coming up in their homes, that sort of thing. And I think that's very valuable, especially for newer foster families.
Who all's welcome to our support groups?
Actually, those support groups are open to any foster family in the area. So we have families who come who are DHS families. We have YFS families.
People that aren't associated with Youth and Family
That's
Services.
right. That's right. So those meetings are open to any foster family in the area.
What about people who may be interested in fostering?
I'm not sure. I would be
Right.
a little cautious because
I would say maybe contact us first, and I think we
Contact
could
us
probably
first.
arrange something to
Yes.
to get some testimonials maybe from other parents.
yes, actually, what I would like to do with those folks is put them in touch with a foster family on an individual basis, and
That
kind
sounds
of
like a
give
great
them a
idea,
chance
too.
to talk to one another one-to-one and see if it might be a good fit for the newer family.
Right, and that sounds like a good idea because it's something that you need some knowledge going into.
Absolutely. You absolutely do need some mentoring. You need to have talked to other foster families. In the big group setting, my only concern really is about the privacy for the children. That's really my only concern. It's
Right.
not about the adults. It's just making sure that the children's
Identities
privacy
are
is
protected,
exactly.
privacy, right, confidentiality.
Exactly.
Right. Like I said, I've been to the foster care support group, and it is awesome. They have a different speaker just about every time, a lot of good information. We've got families that have been doing foster care for, 30 years and
do.
plus.
We do.
They come and tell stories and help out.
It's awesome.
It's a pretty neat deal that I've been lucky to attend a couple of times. What is the process that someone could expect going into applying for foster care?
Well, we'll visit with you to kind of get a sense of why you're interested in being a foster parent, and then we'll start an application process. We'll look at which child you feel would fit best in your home. So we have a thing called a child's needs information list that sort of asks you to think about which children you think might fit best in your home.
Because our job is, it's not to pressure people into something they're not comfortable with. We want good fits for children.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that YFS does that actually sort of helps families is that we do a little bit of gatekeeping as far as placement goes.
Right.
We kind of coordinate with DHS to make sure that the children that are going into our foster homes are as close a fit to that child's needs document as possible. So we do that. There are background checks that have to be done. We also require references, so we do kind of all of that at the beginning.
When we're talking about children's safety here, so
Exactly,
there's going to be
exactly.
a little bit of a stringent process, when it comes to making sure we're putting people with kids that
That's right. And
they're
then
qualified.
And then we also look at whether or not the home is safe, the physical home is safe. That's another thing that we have to check as well.
Right. It's, understandable.
Right.
Now, here's a big question, because I know you told me earlier DHS also does foster care.
Right.
There's a few other agencies, I believe, that do foster care.
Right.
From what you've experienced with your time at YFS, what would you say would be some things that are benefits of doing foster care through YFS as maybe opposed to some other place?
Well, I think we offer some additional support that some other agencies may not offer. For example, our foster care specialists get in touch with families at least once a week. Right now, we have someone who's very involved with families and is in touch every 2 or 3 days with families, if that's what the family likes. We also do visits once a month. We have some availability of some resources, some gift cards and things like that that can help families sort of bear some of the cost of having those children in their home.
Because as I understand, stipends have gone down a
They have.
lot over the years with budget
They
cuts in the
have.
state.
We also have special events for our families. While we do include DHS and other agency children in most of those, we really coordinate those with our families in mind. So, for example, we have a Christmas event.
Just got through with the summer bash,
We just
right?
got through with our back to school bash, and we distributed 80 backpacks to foster families in the Enid
It's a
area.
huge load. I mean,
yeah,
I
so-
just was in Walmart the other day and saw how much the back to school stuff costs.
Right.
It's
so
not cheap.
It's not, but I really do feel like that one-on-one support is what we really can offer to our families that other agencies may not offer quite as well as we do. Also, if you have a problem in the family and you need to call somebody, we're going to be in touch with you very soon. You're not going to have to wait for our office to open. You're going to have the phone number of somebody you can get in touch with immediately if you're having a problem in your foster family.
And as I understand it, we also offer some respite, and sometimes we can also do counseling services as well. We
do have counseling services available through YFS that foster families can access.
Right. It's basically a one-stop shop for foster care.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, how would be the best way for families that are interested to get some information and get a hold of you?
Well, we do have a website, and you can just Google Youth and Family Services, Enid of North Central Oklahoma. We also have a Facebook page at Youth and Family Services of North Central Oklahoma, or you can call our office at 580-233-7220.
Thank you very much for sitting here and talking with me today.
Thank you
Sounds
very
like
much.
a great program, and looks like we need a lot of families, guys. So if there's anyone out there that thinks that, they've got what it takes to help us put some of these kids in stable homes and, have a chance at a real future, give myself, Brandon Gilson, or Barbara Sweat a call at Youth and Family Services. That is 580-233-7220. And thanks for tuning in.
Julie Nelson with Hospice Circle of Love. We're a not-for-profit organization that helps terminally ill patients and their families, and we're at 314 South 3rd. Our website is hospicecircleoflove.com. Be watching for us on upcoming segments of Community Talk.
Hi, we're with Community Talk. I'm Brenda Bingham with the Blue Star Mothers, and I have with me today Jolene Taylor as our treasurer. And we're just going to share a few things that we've been doing lately and update you on our meetings and all that. So I hope you have a good time listening, and I hope that we get some good information out. Jolene, would you like to share our meetings and our times?
Okay, we meet the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 in the mall at our store, and we pack our boxes the fourth Thursday of every month at 6:30 in the store.
Yeah, and we're sending Thursday night tomorrow. What is that? The 24th. We will be sending 59 care packages out. 50 of which will be going to Ukraine. And so we'll be busy tomorrow. And but we're always happy to do this for our troops.
Right.
And I seen yesterday that Broken Arrow chapter had a RV company that adopted them, and they went shopping and done a Sam's run, so they had a lot of goodies to send.
Good.
And maybe we should try to do that here in our community at times. So if you have a a business that would like to help us out. They helped us, or they helped Blue Star Mothers in Broken Arrow. It was kind of a fun, interesting thing, and they taped it, and so it's all on video now, and so.
That would be good if we could get somebody here that, you know, would sponsor us like that so that we could make a run and get a nice, you know,
Right.
bunch of stuff.
And you know, we tend to be sending a lot of toiletries, but it looks like in this packing, they didn't send so much toiletries as it was so many items that they could snack on. We're very low on our beef jerky. So if you have a connection with any of the companies that do beef jerky, we would be so appreciative of your help.
Yep, and I noticed too that we're low on foot powder, but I think we'll be okay this time by not sending it. But by next packing, we will have to have foot powder
Right,
again.
right. So we're kind of going up and down with the 1 month we'll send like the foot powder and deodorant and stuff like that, and then the next month we're skipping because those are items that last a little bit longer. But if you have any suggestions or any ideas, we'd be open to that. We just came back from our 75th annual convention in New York.
Yes.
We had a good time. Of course, it's meetings and a lot of drawn out things that, you know, that we're used to doing, but it seems to take a while to do. But in the long run, it's worth it.
Yeah, this was not my first time to be in New York City, and I had a good time introducing Brenda to some of the things that was going on in Times Square, and my son from South Jersey came up and spent the afternoon with us, so we did have a good time.
We did have a good time. A few embarrassing moments, but it was good. But with that, is where I was leading with that, was that we have, as you know, we've had some Black Hawk go down. We've had a ship that was hit. We've had losses with this. And you know, when we go to National Convention, we meet these mothers. We meet the people that we would never see ever. And you become friends. Well, these friends are going through the worst loss of their life. And so it's been kind of a hard week because you put the faces with the mothers, and it's hard anytime. But if you would help us out with the prayers for our troops,
Right.
help these families with the prayers and getting through this awful time. And just remember, there's always someone out there that's going through this. And so we're also we're fixing to have some fundraisers, and we do this to make the guys and the young women and all of them who serve, it doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman, but we like to put a smile on their face.
Right.
And sometimes that's hard to do in times like this. So,
It is.
So this is what we're doing. So you want to talk about our fundraiser this weekend?
Well, we're going to Wacomas. I don't really know what will be going on in Wacomas, but I know we'll be there, and we will have toys for the kids, and we'll have our Raider knives, and we'll have the wheel that the kids can spin to win something for $1. And we're just planning on having a good time.
That's right. And get our name out there. And, you know, so many times we get asked, you know, what's a Blue Star Mother? Oh my gosh, I thought everybody knew who the Blue Star Mothers was. But we're all mothers of military, past and present. We all have had our sons and daughters serving who have served, whether it's been overseas, stateside. If your son or daughter ever signs up to be in the service, National Guard, regular Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. As soon as they sign up, you are eligible to become a Blue Star mother. And is where we need you mothers to come and help us, and for us to be able to show you the ropes and to show you what we do for our young men and women. And especially, we send mostly to the APO, FPO. Is there another one? AE, APO, AE. But if you have a young man or woman that's serving, say, Africa or wherever.
Right.
And,
Panama or,
Yeah, but they're in a area where they're having trouble getting things that they need, then yes, we'll send to them also. But in doing so, we need you to give us their address, their names, and, give us a hint of what they like. Not that we can cover all of those,
Right.
but we do try. So, and if you're a school class or a church class, you can do things like
the kids have had contests to see who could bring in the most donations, and the class that got the most got a pizza party or something, And then they
Exactly.
like to come and help us pack them after they've done that. So,
yes, and we also have coming up, we have Labor Day weekend, and we'll be at Hutch's here on South Van Buren, and we'll be selling chances to win a $100 gas card. The chances are $1 a piece or 6 for $5, and we'll be there from 9 to 5, and we will sell the chances, and at the end of the day, around 5 o'clock, we draw a name, and whose ever name we draw will win the $100 gas card.
right.
And it helps us a lot, so we really appreciate all the help that we can get. But this weekend, or Labor Day weekend, we are really pushing ourselves. We're having another fundraiser at the same time at Mino and Pride. So if you're traveling west of town, we would like for you to stop in and see some of the Blue Star mothers, and they're doing the same thing, a $100 gas card, the same program,
Right.
It all goes to help our troops.
And you don't have to be present to win. We have your phone number. And if you're not there, we'll give you a call and make arrangements to meet you somewhere.
Exactly. And with the postage and all, with us sending the more care packages, that's why we're doing these fundraisers. So if you can, step out and say hi. If you know someone that's deployed, drop off their address. We'll be happy to add their name, and we'll be happy
Yes.
to pack that care package.
I have one more thing to say. Brenda was quite surprised in New York because she got nominated for a Shining Star. She did not know this, and when they called her name to come up, she's saying, "Why me?" And I said, "Just get on up there, you'd be surprised." But we were quite thrilled that our chapter got a nomination for the Shining Star for Enid, Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, what did I do? What am I getting myself into? But, I've been so honored being a Blue Star mother. I've gotten to go so many different places to be a Blue Star mother. I got to represent us as a patriotic instructor in Washington, D.C. for Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And I can tell you, it's the most humbling, honorable thing that I could have ever done. And it was a long weekends. It was a lot of walking, but I have to tell you, I would do it all over again.
Right.
Because our sons and daughters, they are in bad situations all the time. But you know what? as moms, we will do what we can do to help out our sons and daughters.
Right.
So, anyway, would you like to say anything else?
Well, you know, just if you want to help us pack boxes, come on out at 6:30 Thursday at our store there in the mall. We're right down from Dillard's, between Dillard's and the cookie store. And we'd love to have you. And stop in anytime. Just say hello. Come on in and say hello. And I do have one more thing. I met a soldier in the airport that I gave a star to. We're allowed to cut the stars off of the retired flags. And he was from Chicago, and he was on his way to Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and he was thrilled with the star, but I kept thinking, what a shock from Chicago to Oklahoma, you know, but it makes your heart feel good when they appreciate those stars.
It does. It really does. Well, I have to tell y'all that we love being here. We love being able to get out and talk to everyone and share what's going on in our chapter and share with what we're doing for our troops. We couldn't do this without Enid Television, so thank you very much. And we couldn't do it without our people from all of Northwest Oklahoma. And of course, our moms. You know, our moms get out here and they really work hard for us to be able to do this. We are one of the smallest chapters in Oklahoma, actually most areas. But, you know, we're doing what we can do, and we're asking you all to please pray for us, help us all to be everything that we can be, and, you know, continue to pray for our troops. And just remember, someone else's son or daughter is out there serving and fighting for our freedom. And God bless each of you. We couldn't do this without you. Would you like to say anything else?
Yeah, and just pray for our troops, because it sounds like we're going to have a whole bunch more heading over there, and they need all the prayers they can get.
They do, and Jolene's grandson is one of them that's fixing to deploy. So with that, thank you again for everything that y'all do for us, and thank you for our troops. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Tricia Mitchell, Executive Director with the 4 Our Kids Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to children and adults with disabilities. Please look for us on Community Talk.